chickadees. Whew. I'm telling you, it's Wednesday. It is Wine and Crime Wednesday. I am coming in hot this evening. I had a little bit of time in between work and coming on live with all of you. I choked down a delicious chicken quesadilla that Mr. Demeanor made for me. Thank you so much that the man had it prepared for me. And I walked in the door and here I am. That's why I'm late. I'm so sorry I'm late. Woo. So we covered a lot last night. And we're going to shift gears tonight. And we're going to talk about David Anthony Burke. I hope you're all having a fantastic week. I'm having kind of a busy one, but that's okay. Y'all know I'd rather be busy than bored. And if you're new coming in, make sure you smash the like button, leave some DNA for me there. And also, if you're on Replay Crew, thank you so much, Replay Crew. I have not seen my marvelous mod, Kelly, yet, but I would bet she is on her way. She may be coming in hot, too. I'm not sure. But I do thank you all for joining me this evening and any other times that you've joined me. I do truly appreciate it. Let me say hello to some people here before we get all the way into it, because I'm late. Oh, look who is with us. Adrian Benham. Hello, my partner in crime. Are you coming? Yes, I finally got here. Ay. Christine, thank you so much for joining us again tonight. And KS Granny's back with us. Heidi Ho. It's a light crowd so far, but I know there's a lot going on. I don't know what's happening in the rest of the Tubes of You world, but there's been a lot of stuff that has been happening. So, yeah, just trying to keep it real for all of us here. So David Anthony Burke, this case, if you are new and don't know anything about it, he is a young man that had a blossoming career in the music industry. In the midst of him preparing to go out on tour, he somehow managed to get himself involved in this mess of Celeste Rivas-Hernandez. Celeste was a minor, and she I think had a difficult home life. I think he provided some sanctuary for her, or at least it appeared that way. I don't know if it actually was. And in the midst of her spending all the time she spent with him, she lost her life. He has been charged, of course, in her death. We're going to get into kind of everything that has been leading up to where we are today. So bear with me while we get all of that going. We're gonna have to take a little field trip to Texas, because you know I'm gonna look at his house, because that's what we do here on Ms. Demeanor's channel. And so we're going to take a little tour of the house that is in question. And then we'll also be going through the medical examiner's report. I have not read any of these documents. As you all know, I like to usually come on here and read them cold with all of you. So I don't know what's in them. I just kind of gathered all of the information that I could get my hands on that I felt was pertinent for what our conversation would be tonight. So let me go back in time. Let's all go back in time, and let me get the first thing pulled up here that I wanted to go over. Oh, I forgot. There's also a transcript. There are transcripts that we're going to go over as well. Let's start. I'm looking at my dates. How about we start with the felony complaint? That is not the first thing that happened. Oh, good grief. And this goes in the wrong place. But this should give us a little idea of a little bit of a summary of kind of where things were going at the time. Let's get it pulled up here. I'm sure I'm going to have to make it larger for all of you because, yeah, see, that's itty bitty. And I am too old to read anything that teeny tiny. Let's embiggen it. Maybe too much. Let's try there. Okay, dokie. Are you all ready to get into it? Because we're getting into it. Superior Court of the State of California is where this is, in the county of Los Angeles. This was filed on April 20th, 2026. On or about April 23rd, 2025, in the county of Los Angeles, the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony, was committed by David Anthony Burke, who did unlawfully and with malice aforethought murder Celeste R., a human being. Notice the above offense is a serious felony within the meaning of Penal Code Section 1192(7)(c) and a violent felony within the meaning of Penal Code Section 667.5(c). Goes on to tell us more about the penal code. We're going to get to the good stuff here. It is further alleged that the murder of Celeste was intentional and was carried out by the defendant, David Anthony Burke, for financial gain? Oh, I'm interested. I did not know that was a part of this. Did y'all know that was a part of this? I didn't know that. I don't know. Maybe I've been hanging out under a rock, but I didn't know that. But hey, that's why we do this, right? So we can get all the deets. All right. It is further alleged that pursuant to Penal Code Section PC 190.2A10, that Celeste was a witness to a crime and was intentionally killed because of that fact. Oh my goodness, I'm so interested to see this all unfold. Tell me everything. It is further alleged that the murder of Celeste was committed by defendant and that the defendant intentionally killed the victim by means of lying in wait within the meaning of Penal Code Section 190.2A15. It is further alleged in the commission and attempted commission of the above offense, the said defendant, David Anthony Burke, personally used a deadly and dangerous weapon, to wit, sharp instrument, said use not being an element of the above offense within the meaning of the penal code, and causing the above offense to be a serious felony within the meaning of the penal code. Wow. Okay, so slasher is what I'm getting out of that. Sharp instrument means slasher to me. And by the way, before I go any further, let me thank our friends at Seeking Justice on their Discord, because that, of course, is where I got a lot of these documents, is from the Seeking Justice Discord. So thank you. We love Seeking Justice. They give us lots of information. Okay. On or between September 7th, 2023 and September 7th, 2024, in the county of Los Angeles, the crime of continuous sexual abuse and violation of penal code was committed by David Anthony Burke, who did unlawfully engage in 3 and more acts of substantial sexual conduct as defined in Penal Code Section 1203. Anyway, and 3 and more lewd and lascivious acts as defined in the Penal Code, with Celeste, a child under the age of 14 years, while the defendant resided with and had recurring access to the child. It kind of puts things in perspective when you hear the age And then also hear child, hear them refer to Celeste as a child. And then, of course, we have more of the penal code listed here. Count 3. On or about May 5th, 2025, in the county of Los Angeles, the crime of unlawful mutilation of human remains in violation of Health and Safety Code Section 7052, a felony was committed by David Anthony Burke, who did willfully and unlawfully mutilate remains known to be human, specifically the remains of Celeste. Gross. Super gross how he did it. Here are more notices. And of course, the declarant and complainant is Joshua Byers. And no bail. No bail for David Anthony Burke. There is his date of birth, 3/28/2005. And then this shows the actual offenses and the time that he could be facing. So on count 1, he is looking at the possibility of life without parole. And on count 2, he is looking at 6. This is what it looks like to me. I could be reading this incorrectly. I am not a lawyer. You all know that, right? 6, 12, or 16 in state prison. And then for count 3, 16, 2, and 3. I don't even want to guess. In prison, plus up to $10,000 fine. So there we have that little rundown for everyone. Let's see about some other documents. Are you ready for some other documents? I'm trying to see. So the dates on that, you know what? Let's go back. I want to go back and do it all over. Okay. Getting myself a little Eddie Money going on. I wanted to check the dates on this because May 5th in 2025 is when they believe the mutilation took place. So let's I'll remember that date. September 7th of 2023 to September 7th of 2024 is when they believe the sexual abuse took place. And they believe she was murdered, it looks like April 23rd. So, April 23rd, the murder. May 5th, the choppity chop. And September of 2023 to September of 2024 is when the sexual abuse happened. Okay. Is everybody tracking now with me? Tracking with the timeline? Because we got to keep it straight. All right. Let's see about the next document. I know, ironically, let me pull this up. Why does it keep doing that? Don't do that, computer. It's putting it on the wrong screen. There was a warrant that was issued for the Tesla. And so that's what I'm going to bring up here next for us to review. And again, it's itty bitty. Let me make it so you can read. Okay, search warrant. Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles. Property non-disclosure approved, yada, yada, yada. Let's get down to the stuff. So they were looking for a 2023 Tesla Model Y, four-door black in color, bearing Texas license plate redacted. Resources revealed the registered owner as David Anthony Burke. For the following property, thing, or persons, discover cause of the foul odor emanating from the trunk area of the vehicle. Can you imagine? This is giving like Casey Anthony vibes all over again. I'm gonna need to make this bigger because I still can't read it. It's awfully small. And let me put myself. Alrighty, I, Detective 1 Jason Wild, serial number 39379, have been employed by the Los Angeles Police Department for over 17 years. I am currently assigned to the Hollywood area Autos Detective Table with a primary duty assignment of investigating auto-related crimes. I've completed numerous domestic violence, robbery, burglary from motor vehicles, fraud, stolen vehicle, and theft investigations, and have arrested numerous persons for these and related offenses. I have also located and recovered stolen property on numerous occasions. I've also attended classes regarding domestic violence, robbery, theft, fraud, and other related offenses at the Los Angeles Police Academy. I have received informal training from other experienced officers and detectives and have interviewed numerous suspects regarding the manner in which they commit their crimes and dispose of their loot, in air quotes. I am familiar with the manner in which numerous crimes are committed. Based on previous investigations and experience, it is my opinion that electronic communication methods such as text messaging, electronic mail, IMDM, and online forum posts are used by criminals for communications and the facilitation of criminal operations. This includes covert and public transmission of phone numbers, addresses, messages, photos, images, and files. Based on previous investigations and experience, it is my opinion that electronic forms of payment such as Zelle, PayPal, Apple Pay, Venmo, Cash App, and use of cryptocurrency are used by criminals. Yes, that would be my experience as well. Both for their transaction speed and ease of use, criminals prefer these forms of transactions to remain anonymous to their victims and move their money quickly. However, unlike cash, criminals must set up these accounts connected to their real bank account information and in some cases provide identification to open these accounts. Excuse me, I had quite the sneeze that just took place. I did not want to do that in y'all's ear. That would have been very unkind of me. Statement of probable cause. On September 8th, 2025, Detective 3 Clore, serial number 32866, was advised by official police garage Hollywood Tow at 1015 North Mansfield, Los Angeles, California, that they have a vehicle on their lot which is emanating a foul odor and attracting flies. Uh-oh. Okay. Odor is one thing. Flies? We gotta talk about that. That's telling. That's telling. The vehicle was reported abandoned to Los Angeles Department of Transportation in the area of 1406 Bluebird Avenue in Hollywood. Los Angeles Department of Transportation responded to the location and towed the vehicle on September 5th, 2025. The vehicle's current registration comes back to Texas. Currently unable to contact registered owner of the vehicle, Detective 3 Clore responded to the location and verified the vehicle is emanating a foul odor from the trunk area. Oh, y'all, can you imagine? You're the detective and you're like, you get on scene there and you're like, yep, stinks. Like, really? That was like your big investigative skill is you went there and you sniffed. Yep, sure does stink. Oh, detectives. Oh, I had to deal with a detective today, and let me just tell you, he was not the most pleasant I've ever had to deal with before. Okay. This is showing that they seized the vehicle and human remains were located in the vehicle. Oh, Felicia, hey, thanks for joining us tonight. And yes, gross. Yeah, we need you to come here and sniff this. Does that smell bad to you? My niece used to do that all the time. She'd smell something and go, "Oh gosh," and then she'd go, "Aunt Janet, here, smell this." I'm like, "What? This? You already said it stinks." Oh my dear. Yes, coffee nut. Thanks for lurking. Are you being a peeper? We had Catnut Williams last night peeping in on us while she was doing some work. Yeah. Can you say Casey Anthony, mom smelling the car? Yeah, exactly. That's why I said I'm getting Casey Anthony vibes on this. Alrighty, so they seized the vehicle and found human remains in the frunk, as we have all learned it is how it is referred to. Let's move on. That was the beginning of September. Also in September, I found this a little odd. There was a property transfer that was made on September 23rd, 2025. And this went, it's my understanding, it went from David Anthony Burke, the trustee of the Thorn Rose Trust, to Colleen M. Roberts, which my understanding is old Colleen is David's mother. So the address is 37150 Porter Lane in Hempstead, Texas. Y'all know it's field trip time. We're gonna go to Texas because this is the property that was conveyed over to Colleen on September 25th. Awfully odd, don't you all think? Huh. Why would you need to take that out of the name of a trust when its trustee was David Anthony Burke? Huh. Yeah. Coinky dink? I don't think so. I don't think so. And then, of course, notary and all the things needed for this particular transfer of property. Do y'all want to see it? Of course you want to see it, because that's what we do here. All right, let me get us there, because there are lots of photos of this bad boy. Let us get a peek here. All right, pretty house, no? It is 4,426 square feet. That's a big house. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. And here we see, yeah, and let me see if I can do this better. That's a little better for everybody, isn't it? You can see the picture a little bigger. And it has this nice white fence around the property, very Texas-like, if I do say so myself. And yet, here we have in the back a Walmart pool. I am in no way throwing shade on the Walmart pool, because let me tell you, I had a fantastic Walmart pool in my backyard for a long period of time when I lived in Tennessee. And it got me just as wet as my fancy in-ground pool that I have now. Still got wet. But there it is. There's your Walmart pool in the backyard. Oh, I love myself a nice swing on a front porch. Heck yeah. Ooh, that is very pretty. I don't know how I like, walking in and bam, there's stairs right there, but it's very pretty. Double doors, no single door with side lights. I know that's a common thing. Odd little bathroom with the corner. Huh? What is that? And that is the tiniest little hand. What an odd bathroom. Well, this is pretty. Very pretty. I'm not a fan of the TV over the fireplace because you're sitting like all the time trying to watch it. Yep, lived that once already in my life as well. Oh, love the arches. Yes, oh, Felicia, that was the smallest sink alive. Yeah, it is a powder room, KS Granny, but it's even dinky for a powder room, for heaven's sake. So lovely kitchen here. I think I am not a fan of no cabinets on the upper with just the shelves thing. It's just not my thing. I don't care for that, but hey, to each his own. And it's also this open floor concept. Yeah, my open floor concept days behind me. Tired of that, I am. It's loud. You can't hear anything while you're watching TV. Mr. Demeanor is cooking or whatever. And I'm like, huh? I can't hear the TV. I mean, I don't really sound like that. You all know what I sound like, but big little dinette area. Wow, that's quite the closet. It also looks like there's possibly a safe in there. Sizable pantry with a glass door that you can see everything in there. Not interested in that. No, I don't need to be displaying everything. It's beautiful and it's big. Don't get me wrong. But by the time I put all my stuff in there, ain't gonna look like that. Oh, laundry room. I love a good laundry room. I do some of my best work in a laundry room. This looks like a bedroom that's currently being used as an office. Ooh, big bedroom. Has to be the primary. Has to be. Doesn't look quite as big in this direction, oddly enough. I like the tile behind the bathtub. Very pretty. It's a little too white for me, but again, to each his own. This weirdness of the cabinet, and they've got the hamper under that. I think that was probably a little rolling area for like a makeup table. Weird. Looks like a big shower there though, with yet a different type of tile. But why do we have all these different tiles? Big closet. Big closet. I do like that it's got like doors on it, so everything's closed. I like that. That's slick. Ooh, I should not be watching things like this. I get ideas and then I tell Mr. Demeanor he has work to do. And another closet. Looks like a play area. Play the day away, it says. Definitely a theater room of some kind. I'm guessing because it's dark. Another laundry? We have 2 laundry rooms in this joint? What? That's a big bedroom for a little one. Big closet for a little one too. Yowzer. Oh, I kind of like the purple. That's very sweet and quaint. I like that. I don't necessarily want it in my own house, but it's cute. Oh, I understand. Because here's the bedroom that has lots of purple. Oh my goodness, this is an enormous closet. Oh, another bedroom. Another view from the bedroom. That's also a big closet. These seem like they're deep, these closets. And fancy schmancy mirror in this particular bathroom. Now we're outside. That was rather abrupt. Big back patio. You couldn't really see that from the other picture because the Walmart pool was in the way. There's the Walmart pool. Lots of rock, not a ton of landscaping. Lots of land. I don't know how big this property is, but it looks sizable. Yeah, you're right, oh, Felicia. The closets could be rooms. Yes, it is all Texas size. Because we all know everything's bigger in Texas. That's a large property, y'all. Look at that. Wow. So this, I don't know, can you see my cursor? It's itty bitty, but this is the driveway that wraps all around and everything. Wow. Yeah, this is a big piece of property. Very, very big piece of property. Well, that looks like there's landscaping that way, but when we looked at it before, not so much. That's a sizable piece of land. Yeah, you mostly like the land, oh, Felicia. I don't blame you. The house isn't it's pretty, don't get me wrong, and it's got some cool stuff, but I like my own house better. And that is our final photograph. We have now concluded our tour to, where is this? Hempstead, Texas? Yeah. Okay, you're creeping me out. Can't hear screaming there. So why didn't he take her there? He could have just taken her there. Why did he have to do it in crazy California? No offense to my Californians. I don't know, Melissa, if you're here yet. I know you're in the California land. All right. We have now seen the transfer. The next thing I want us to review is the tour dates that Mr. David Anthony Burke had. I think it's important to look at what these dates were and how this coincided with what may or may not have been going on. So let's take a peeky weeky at that, shall we? Itty bitty again. Let's make it larger. So, October 15th, 2025 was the first date on the tour, it looks like. So if we do our math and our memory of the calendar, they believe Celeste was dismembered. The mutilation began. I'm sorry, the mutilation was done in May. I don't believe the vehicle was found. Oh gosh, that was September 8th. And of course, that's when they found Celeste's, well, they found female remains that were later identified as Celeste's. So we're getting really close to this beginning of the tour. And it looks like the tour was going to start in Manchester in the UK. Withered World Tour is what it was called. I'm not entirely yep, see, here are US dates. July 30th, August 1st, August 2nd, August 5th. These are all in the US. It looks like most of these were local to the California area. Let's keep scrolling and see what we find when we get a little closer to that September time frame. Brooklyn, New York, Philadelphia. Maryland. Lord, don't tell me any of these dates are in Massachusetts, because that place is crazy. Those people are crazy up there. What in the world? Oh, there, Boston, Massachusetts, Thursday, August 28th. God help everybody. So let's get September 5th. He was still had tour dates and was performing while this was being while these facts were unfolding. He was in, it looks like, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and then Kansas City, Missouri. I don't know precisely when he finally canceled the tour. Yeah. Oh, Felicia, you're right. They didn't even cancel. Eventually they finally did. I don't know when that was. I bet it will say in some of the documents that we're going to review. So he had dates all the way up until December 10th of 2025. So I'm sorry, I'm probably making you all sick by doing my quick scrolling. I hate doing that to people, because I hate when I'm watching and someone does it and I'm like, whoa, I can't do that. December is, yeah, he was in the UK he was planning on being in the UK in October, but there are no concert dates scheduled for the tour after December 10th, it looks like. So now that we have some reference on that, and he just kept going about his business, which is beyond bizarre to me. That part gives me like Alec Murdoch vibes, big time. Let's go to the next item in the chronology. There was an arrest. I don't know if you all remember, but Christopher Langston, who I believe is an associate of David Anthony Burke, was arrested. This is his booking photo. This was done he was arrested on January 23rd, 2026. This individual, Neo Christopher Langston, my understanding is he has been in a lot of social media with David. And I don't think, yeah, it just tells us that just his booking photo. I don't even know what he was arrested, what the charges were for. It just says warrants. So I really don't even know the purpose of his arrest. I definitely remember when it happened. It was kind of a big deal. This was also in Montana. I don't know if you noticed that. This was in Helena, however you choose to say it, Montana. So this was one of the buddies. Oh, he evaded a court order. Oh, that's right, because they were trying to find both of them. That's right, I forgot. Thank you, oh, Felicia. This is why everybody in the chat is like the best. Because you are. You know everything. You help me out. Y'all make me look way better than I actually am. Hey, Jillian. Thanks for hanging out with us. All righty. So after, this is one of the things, I literally just saw it and glanced and I was like, oh, I can't wait to read this. I haven't read it yet. So we're going to read it together. There are transcripts. These transcripts are from January 23rd, 2026. And I don't even really know for sure who is being interviewed. Yeah, I just saw transcripts and I was like, oh, that's got to be good. So let us get involved. This looks like it was done in Texas. I got to get it all up here and the right size for us because old lady eyes. All righty. So this was a hearing held on January 23rd, 2026. It states, the following proceedings came on to be heard in the above entitled and numbered cause before the Honorable Gary W. Cheney, judge presiding, held in Hempstead, Waller County, Texas. Well, that tells us a little something. It's being held in Hempstead. That is where the property that we just saw that was transferred, where that property resides. All right. Appearances. There are the attorneys. Attorneys for the witnesses. And then it gives the attorney's name, Kent A. Schaefer, Colleen N. David Burke. I think that's supposed to be David Burke, and Caleb Burke. Caleb is either, sounds like probably a sibling to David, but I don't know. Let's us see what happens. January 23rd, 2026. This is cause number GJ25-26/16. That's actually a California cause number. This is a summons to appear before a grand. Ooh, a summons to appear before a grand jury. The style of this case is in regard to the people of the state of California versus David, D-A-V-I-D, Burke, B-U-R-K-E. And with that, I'm going to go around the table here. Ms. Magnus, if you'll announce for the state, and then we'll just and then, sir, if you'll go next and just all the way, so we'll know who all's in the room. Oh, I'm going to have to do acting for all of you again. Oh, I know how you all love this. Sheila, I didn't bring myself. I brought a notebook out, but I left it in front of Adela there. If you'll bring me a notebook, there you go. Okay, with that, Ms. Magnus, if you'll announce who you're here on behalf. Maya Magnus, representing the state of Texas, Waller County. Kent Schaefer, I represent Colleen Burke, who is the mother of David Burke. Okay. Mr. Kennedy, I'm sorry, good afternoon, Your Honor, James Kennedy. I represent Caleb Burke, and he is present. I still don't know who Caleb Burke is. Okay, and Caleb Burke? Yeah, I'm Caleb Burke. And Caleb Burke, what's the relationship? David Burke's brother, Your Honor. There we go. Now we know who we're talking to. Got it. Okay. Colleen Roberts Burke. Okay, and her relation? Mother. David's mother. David's mother. Yes, sir. Sebastian Portilla, and I work with Kent Schaefer. And I don't know if that's Portilla or Portilla. Anyway. Okay, could you spell your name for the record? Sebastian, or Sebastian Portilla. Okay, yes, sir. Javier Martinez for Colleen Burke, Your Honor. All right. Detective Brian Richardson, Los Angeles Police Department, Robbery Homicide Division. Okay. Detective Alice, that is hard to say, y'all. Los Angeles Police Department, Robbery Homicide Division. All right. Okay. At this point, I'm going to let Ms. Magnus bring me up to speed, and then we will, after she's kind of had her say, I'm an equal opportunity offender. I let anybody and everybody talk as much as they want to talk. Oh, God. Oh, help us all. So, Ms. Magnus, if you'll bring me up to speed. So, Judge, I'm stepping into this last minute as well, but my understanding is that there is a grand jury investigation that is being conducted in California in Los Angeles County. These two individuals have been summoned to appear for purposes of the grand jury presentation. The prosecutors in Los Angeles have executed all of the paperwork that is necessary. It has gone before, I believe they call them the Superior Court judge there, who has signed off and done all the necessary certifications. And so, under Texas law, Code of Criminal Procedure Article 24.28, which is the Uniform Act to secure attendance of witnesses from without the state, are now before you for the court to make a determination that California has complied with the rules that would authorize a Texas court, you being a district court judge, to review the paperwork and then order that these witnesses appear before the grand jury in California. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Yes, sir. So on behalf of Colleen Burke, our position is that the request or the summons and the request for issuance of the subpoena is unconstitutional in violation of the Texas and the United States constitutions, and that it denies the witness, Colleen Burke, notice and due process, inasmuch as Article 24.28, Section B3, which says that the court has to make a determination that the witness is material and necessary and that it will not cause undue hardship to be compelled to attend and testify. All we have been served with so far is a notice to appear here today. So it is virtually impossible for us to address materiality and necessity when we don't even know what the subject matter is that would be explored with our client. Oh, shut the front door. You know exactly what it's about. He is not really trying to throw this one over on the judge here. The court is smarter than that, sir. I have to hydrate. Hey, whatever you're drinking, tell me what it is in the chat. I've got my Dr. Pepper Zero. It's my favorite. Don't know what subject matter is that would be explored. Sir, we were not born yesterday. We know exactly what's going to be explored, and you should too. I've done a lot of these on both sides, both trying to subpoena out-of-state witnesses and also defend these types of issues. In every one of these cases, there was always a certificate, a petition, an affidavit from an officer saying why this person's testimony is material and necessary. If they complied with that, then the burden shifts to us to show the unreasonable nature of that. We talked to the prosecutor, and Bennett Dodson was the prosecutor who's handling this, and he's like, guys, everything apparently must be under seal. The only thing I can give you is the actual subpoena, which he did. But all it says is you're supposed to appear before a grand jury. He said, you've got to take that up with someone else. So as it stands right now, we don't even have the ability to go forward to show that the testimony of the witness is not material, not necessary. And because it's supposed to set out in the petition and certificate, according to 24.28, it's supposed to set out the length of time that the witness's appearance will take place in California. We can't even contest undue hardship at this time. And interestingly, both Mr. Kennedy and I talked to the prosecutor in Harris County that does these all the time. He's done 50 in the last few years, and he said we've never had a case where we didn't deliver the certificate of petition. In 49 out of 50 cases, the judge always finds material and necessary because it sets out the facts. We're relying on two cases. One is, and I brought a copy if you want, it's Ex parte Armas. It's a 1979 Court of Criminal Appeals case at 582 Southwest 2nd 434. In the Arms case, there was another California subpoena. The San Diego judge issued a subpoena for the testimony of a man named J.J. Arms, who was a very famous private investigator from Texas. He was being subpoenaed to testify in a grand jury about a murder investigation in San Diego, where Mr. Arms had been hired as a private investigator to go investigate this murder. Okay, this all seems like, yeah, you should probably go and testify in front of a grand jury. I mean, I'm just saying, if you were the private investigator, I think it would behoove you to comply. In the affidavit in support of the subpoena request, it sets out his testimony as material and necessary because he's made statements to numerous people that he has identified. He has the identity of the murderer. So the DA in San Diego wanted testimony as to who was the murderer. And the court found, and the Court of Criminal Appeals upheld, that recitation, that he possessed that knowledge, which was necessary and material to the case, that was sufficient. We also cite Weaver versus State, which is 657 SW2D 148, which cites the arms case. Hey, Debbie, I got your message, your comment from yesterday. Yep, catch up later. Thank you so much. And in Weaver, it says a detailed showing of materiality is necessary in the interest of comity, economy, and efficiency, upholding the issuance of the subpoena because it set out a detailed explanation as to why the testimony was material and necessary. So we can't even address materiality and necessity, and undue hardship until we're given some notice of how long we're supposed to be there and what the subject matter of the testimony is. And at that point, we may not have any argument to make. But right now, we just don't know. Yeah, nobody knew anything because they were keeping... Nobody knew anything. They were very, very, very tight-lipped. I remember talking to Lauren Conlon about this, and just that there was like no information coming out, and how we thought that was really odd. And it felt like maybe LAPD was trying to do some diversion tactics. Anywho. So a couple of things that oh, sorry, it's Ms. Magnus. I need to put my Ms. Magnus voice on. My bad. So a couple of things that I think need to be addressed. The determination as to whether or not these witnesses are material to the grand jury presentation has already been made in a different court. All of that information has gone before the Superior Court in Los Angeles, and that court has made the appropriate determinations as to the necessity of these witnesses and why they are material witnesses. That's not a decision for this court to make. The decision for you to make is whether or not California has complied with the requirements of the statute, that the paperwork is in order. And if so, then the only decision that you would be weighing in on is whether or not it presented these witnesses an undue hardship to appear. And I believe that's part of the reason why these detectives are here, so that they can further expand on their ability to provide the necessary transportation and lodging. And I'm not sure what else it is that y'all are set up to supply these witnesses in California when they appear for the grand jury investigation. Part of the difficulty that I'm experiencing, Judge, is that these documents are filed under seal, and it is a grand jury investigation. And therefore, if California's law aligns with that of Texas, I can't just turn over documents to defense counsel related to the grand jury investigation because there's obviously secrecy involved. Ding, 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 ding. Yes. Yes, there's secrecy. Don't want all this stuff leaked all over the place. Ay, ay, ay. I do think, based on the relationship of these witnesses to the matter of the grand jury investigation, I feel like everybody may have a good idea of what this is involving and that it is related to a murder investigation. Well, Ms. Magnus, she understands. She got the memo on it. She's like, 2, 2, 4. Got it. She must have been an excelling student in law school. I'm just saying, since she was able to put that together. And my understanding is that these two witnesses are related to a suspect in that investigation. Beyond that, I am uncomfortable providing any of the documents that Texas has been provided because I don't want to run afoul of grand jury secrecy rules. If I may address that, let me point out the fact, and I've known Ms. Magnus 30 years probably. I hate to take exception to what she says, but the fact that our clients may be related to the subject or the target of the investigation doesn't lessen the burden under Texas law and the statute. Real quick. So she's quoting 22. You're quoting 24. Same. It's 24.28, Judge. So we're under the same statute. Same statute, but that statute says that we're entitled to a hearing. And it says at the hearing, the judge determines if the judge determines that the witness is material and necessary and will not cause undue hardship to be compelled to testify, that you could then order, but real quick. This judge loves saying real quick. And I apologize. I'm just trying to jump to where my mind is. So on any of those cases in the past, because the one you cite was a grand jury. Yes, sir. Both of these were. Okay. And in those cases, the information was turned over without there being a violation of the grand jury rules in any way. Right. Because whatever they submitted under seal to the judge there is up to them. Does the judge take it in camera and the judge says, hey, can there be limited instructions on, okay, this is where we are? Or how does the state satisfy not violating the grand jury secrecy rules, but yet giving you guys an opportunity to say, hey, the statute says it has to be a material and the statute says it has to be. So is there a way, before we get into the issue of whether the hearing goes forward, I need to know what kind of notice do you guys need and what happens when it's a grand jury issue? And do we have any insight into that to help me? Yes, sir. Well, we do, because the cases I cited are grand jury cases where they did provide enough detail for the Texas judge to look at and say, I think that this witness is material and necessary. So is it for me or is it, I thought you said that y'all had to have notice. I'm trying to get to where your notice. Well, we have the ability. How do you argue something if you don't know what it is? Exactly, Your Honor, if I may. This is what's called a materiality hearing. And so there's a burden that the state has to meet, but it also imposes a burden on you that you have to make certain findings. Right. And one of those is that you actually have to find that their testimony would be material and necessary. So while a judge in California issued a certificate finding they were material, you in the home state of the residents, you must also find that they are material and necessary, that there's no undue hardship, and that they would be safe from service of process. If they were to go there, they wouldn't be served with a civil or something like that. And then the statute says if you actually find that in a grand jury proceeding or prosecution, then you shall turn over a summons to them to appear with a certificate attached to it from the state of California. Okay, so you're down here. I'm still way up here. Sure. It seems like the first step, Judge, would be, it doesn't seem like you have been provided any of the paperwork from California. Is that accurate? I have not. And so that's a problem. But this is the other problem I'm having, and that's why I'm thinking that we might need to come back. But I'm trying to figure out how I can get them notice so that they can get prepped for a hearing without violating the secrecy rules. And I was wondering if there's any guidance on that, or do these judges just say, do they just send the notice out to you guys and, just said don't disseminate it? Or because a lot of times what I do in several of my cases, not necessarily on the criminal side here, but for instance, I got this big Renaissance case that I'm dealing with and nobody wants this information on their financials anywhere. And so I've limited what can be disclosed, right? And obviously all I have is contempt power, but I guess my question is, I would like to think there would be something like this, and you tell me if it's not the case, that obviously I can in-camera take over and look at the items myself, but can I instruct you guys, or is there ability to say, okay, here, defense, I'm letting you look at this stuff, but it, kind of like the sexual assault stuff, right? But you can't disseminate it, only you can look at it. And I would like to think I have the ability to do that. Is that correct? Y'all, this sounds like a hot mess. I don't know that the judge knows any more about what's going on than anybody else. I think you do. And that's one of the things I would suggest. And I have 3. 1, you could put us under a protective order. 2, the DA in Los Angeles can go unseal that, can go to the court and get an order to unseal and then give it to us. Or 3, she could just issue a new one with more of a bare bones if I don't know how to how detailed her first affidavit was, but she might make it less detailed. And what I'm talking about is, for instance, in the arms case, the facts that were set out in the affidavit is the witness made statements that he knew who the murderer was. Therefore, his testimony is necessary because we want to know who he says the murderer is. So it's not like it's a lengthy paragraph. Got it. It's very much to the point. So I think those are the three choices. Quick question. Major time issue on this? I know these guys have gone all the way out here, but my week got freed up next week because the freeze was coming in potentially, and there was a medical emergency on a trial I was supposed to be in. So I need some additional time. Is this something we can come back where we can get them the information and get me the information? Or is this something that I need? I mean, do I need to make a ruling today on? The compliance date is February 11th. So you've got, what I was going to suggest is if maybe Ms. Magnus can contact the DA there and try to work around the problem, we could come back next week or even the week after, because the testimony is the week after that. So let me ask Ms. Magnus this, because you asked me a question. Did I receive the information? I haven't received anything unless it's in my EQ and it just slipped through. No. So I need it, and you tell me, what do you think about his suggestion? Is that something that would fix it, or sounds like to me I can order to expedite things? I'm perfectly fine. If the state's perfectly fine, because, hopefully this won't be something where I get sued on, but, limiting the, what you can do with the information and oh my gosh, this judge is giving me a freaking headache. We need to fast forward, because this is a bunch of saying the same things over and over again. Let's skim. How's that sound? Because this is giving me a headache. I want to know. We're still talking about 3 suggestions here, by the way, as I look at this. Oh my goodness. 65 pages of transcripts talking about whether the judge can compel them to appear. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. This has been a letdown. I was hoping for some real transcript stuff. No, not at all. I get some junk. Oh my goodness. They're talking about timing. We have time. Let the record reflect that we're going to kick it down the road. That's what he says. Anything else? No. Okay, we're good. Oh boy. And then it's certified here. There is volume 2 of 3 volumes. Oh, is this a new day? Maybe. Here's the chronological index. Hang on. Offer, admit. Arguments. There's a lot of freaking arguing going on here. Issuance of subpoena. Court's ruling. Let's go to page 29, shall we, to get the court's ruling. Let me see. Maybe I can do it quicker. I do a little quicker this way. 15, 21, 28, 29. Yeah, I know y'all, it's pretty obvious to me that they understand that y'all want the unredacted versions. I get that. Okay, anything else from the defense? No, sir. I believe for the record, we have asked the state for the unredacted. They did not, and at this time, I would request that the court allow me to see the unredacted copy. All right. Anything else from the state? No, sir. Other than I would object to the request as violating the grand jury secrecy provisions of both California and Texas. Got it. Okay, guys. And judges at my level love making new law, but I love the Court of Appeals because if I get it wrong, then they get it right. I always look at it like I'm calling balls and strikes, and those guys go back and look at it, the TV, and figure out if I got it right or not. So it doesn't bother me. You know, my predecessor said you should just rule and never comment on how you think, but I always comment on how I think. If I get it wrong, then they know why I did what I did. So I feel like I'm in a balancing test here, okay? But what comforts me, and I think I'm making the right decision, is in the case that you provided, the arms case, it gives me the three-pronged test. And the issue that I'm dealing with is the witness is materially necessary to criminal proceedings of a grand jury investigation. Well, in that same case, they say, we hold that certificate from the requesting state setting out that witness is materially necessary if sufficient to support, is sufficient to support the trial court's findings of that fact. So, you know, it lets me rely on what the other court said. I've looked at it. I didn't see anything in there that in my mind would violate the court's ruling. And so I feel like I do have to, you know, just like CPS cases, I have to take stuff in camera all the time. And sometimes that doesn't go out, and that's stuff that the grand jury did get to see, but yet I didn't order or release it to the parties. And, you know, I was even laughing. My. We just got a new associate judge. I swore him in today. What is this man talking about? And I had to tell him he's a new employee. They changed the law after Roe v. Wade in Washington. They've even done it at the state level where my employees have to swear that they understand they can't release anything or it could be a felony. So things, even when they're told not to say things on high profile cases, somehow end up with TMZ or somehow end up in the world. Yeah, that's probably why it's been sealed. Just saying. So, you know, I'm going with my gut on this. I'm balancing the grand jury situation with, you know, your kind of what you're saying is there's a notice requirement. And I'm not thinking that's the issue, even without what your case says, where, you know, I have the ability to just kind of rely on the California court, which is kind of what I think this says. But even when I look at it myself, I still think these witnesses are material and necessary because of the relationship that's involved with the witnesses and the defendant. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, Your Honor. So my ruling is going to be that they are to go to California and honor the subpoena by California. Anything else from the defense? And deny our request to have them turn over the unredacted. Yes, I'm going to deny that at this point. Yeah, I'm going to allow it to stay redacted. Okay. All of that for him to go, yeah, you boneheads need to go to California and answer questions that are being posed to you from a grand jury. Oh, Lord. So that is what ultimately ended up happening is they had to go. And I'm glad. What is this? Daywood? What? I can't say that name. Okay, I will admit the two from Mr. Martinez, both Colleen Burke, and I can't say that name. Daywood, and then the one from Mr. Kennedy's client. How weird. Where did this odd spelling of D-A-W-U-D come from? Very weird. Then they ask all of the witnesses that whether they understand that they are going to, they're being commanded to appear before the grand jury in the county of Los Angeles. They all agree. Yes, sir. Yes. And yes. And he says, let the record reflect that I'm handing over the summons to appear, and they have to go there. That was in February. So all the rumblings and rumors that were going on at around this time frame earlier this year were accurate. There was a grand jury. They were being requested. Their presence was being requested. at the grand jury to answer questions regarding this case. And I don't think it is, Felicia. I think it's a misspelling. Because yeah, I don't think so. I think that that's David. And for whatever reason, it was completely misspelled in this whole situation. So, alrighty. Let me proceed. I believe. All right. The first thing I am going to do is warn everyone that is watching, because much like last night, we are going to be getting into some very sensitive information. I'm going to be pulling up the death certificate for Celeste Rivas-Hernandez, and I will be going through the medical report as well. So if you think you have issues, then you probably want to bounce or mute or do whatever you need to do if you think you're going to be triggered. So, because I don't want anyone mad at me over this, but we have to cover these cases because crazy people. We're going to start with the old death certificate. Oh my, I'm like moving my stuff all over the place and everything. The death certificate really doesn't say a whole lot, but I'm going to pull it up for all of us to view anyway. I'm going to go just a little bit bigger. Celeste Abigail Rivas-Hernandez, her date of birth. Oh my goodness, that's right. I forgot. 9/7/2010. And I want to say her remains were found on 9/8, weren't they? Oh yeah, yeah. It says date of death 9/8 because they didn't know what they were actually dealing with. Ever in U.S. Armed Forces? No, never married. She was a Salvadoran American. Her highest level of education was the 8th grade. She was a student. Shows that she lived in Lake Elsinore in Riverside. Her father was Jesus Edgardo Rivas Alvarado. Name of, oh yeah, it says the same thing. Name of parent first. It looks like mom was Mercedes Guadalupe Martinez Hernandez. She was buried at the Queen of Heaven mortuary, and this states that the cause of death at the time this particular death certificate was completed is deferred. I don't know if they have, I'm not sure on a California death certificate where the manner of death is. It does not say. Place of death, vehicle. I don't think that's where she passed away or where she was, her life was ended. But I do not see anything here that shows what the manner of death was. It just strictly says deferred and nothing else. So maybe it's on this pending investigation. Here we go. This is page 2. And it does say on 9/8/2025 she was found. The statement of corrections information as it appeared on the original record. So this was the amendment that was processed. Multiple penetrating injuries and homicide is listed as the manner of death, I am assuming, and unspecified place, unknown, and her death was committed with objects, is what it says here. So we're gonna start. Oh gosh, I hit my mouse again, and now I'm in super slow mode. Give me just a second. There we go. Now I'm going to move on to the medical report. Y'all can let me know if it is too triggering for you, or if you want to just dip on this. But this is the part that I think a lot of additional information we'll be able to glean a lot of additional information from this. Death investigation summary, date and place are both unknown, and date of examination. This would have been 2 days after her remains were found. Cause of death, multiple penetrating injuries. Manner of death, homicide. How injury occurred, with objects. And that's what we saw in the amendment on the second page of the death certificate. All righty. Severe post-mortem changes. 2 penetrating wounds of the torso, right abdomen with injury to liver, eesh, left chest with penetration of underlying intercostal space and cortical disruption of adjacent ribs. Now, y'all know I'm also not a medical professional. So I am not an attorney. I am not a medical professional. So I will do my best on reading this information. But you got to bear with me, because I'm just a middle-aged lady. And some either even question the lady part. But other findings: bilateral dismemberment of upper and lower extremities. Oh. She was dismembered then. So based on what that says, her arms and her legs were removed from her torso. Multiple additional skin defects, and then there was also a separate toxicology report. Per medical examiner investigators report, this 15-year-old female, Celeste Abigail Rivas-Hernandez, was found dismembered in a state of decomposition inside of a car trunk on September 8th, 2025. Death was pronounced at the scene. Autopsy examination was limited by extensive post-mortem changes. There are 2 penetrating wounds of the torso with smooth edges that may represent sharp force injuries. The wound on the upper abdomen penetrates the liver, and the wound on the left chest penetrates one of the intercostal spaces with disruption of the adjacent ribs, cortical surfaces. The left lung appears intact. The bilateral upper and lower extremities show full thickness dismemberment. Multiple other skin and soft tissue defects are present without apparent associated internal injuries. The etiology of these defects is not clearly apparent due to severe postmortem changes. Postmortem toxicology performed on liver tissue shows the presence of a low level of ethanol, which may be due to postmortem changes or ingestion, and does not appear to be contributory to the cause of death. So I'm curious to know what the levels are, because one of the things that does happen with your body when decomposition begins is ethanol is produced naturally. And so if it is at such a significantly low amount, that it may not be any ingestion at all and may have just been post-mortem decomposition. Given the history and circumstances as currently known by me in the setting of the findings by examination, ancillary studies, and in the absence of other definitive causes of death, the cause of death is multiple penetrating injuries. The manner of death is classified as homicide. And now we go through the decedent identification. Form sections. Okay. I'm just getting to, yikes. She was 71 pounds? Y'all. That doesn't seem like a tiny amount, but she was 5'2". 5'2" and 71 pounds? Oh my. That is little. Skin findings, postmortem changes, no scars, tattoos. Present, right finger, second medial. Shh. Now, what's interesting, I'm going to pause there for a moment because I came across a photograph. And I don't know where this, it was part of the case file. I don't know where this actually came from. But that's the tattoo that is in the case file. So did she have two and maybe you couldn't see this one? Strange, right? I'm like, I didn't know that was even a thing. So yeah, weird. I knew and had heard about the shh one, but I did not know anything about one that said David. She had long hair. She had no facial hair. Her hair was black. Oh, Lord. Eye color cannot assess due to severe postmortem changes. This is awful. They couldn't identify if there was any petechia. Wow. Okay, oral cavity, good definition or good dentition. Orthodontic hardware present and in place on the upper and lower teeth. Isn't that interesting? That tells me like a retainer. So was she going to, what did this happen after she'd gone to sleep? You don't normally wear your retainer unless it's at nighttime. That's typically when you wear it. Are y'all tracking with me? I didn't know that. Neck, chest, abdomen, and back are all normal and unremarkable. External genitalia is female. Decomposition changes, skin color, multiple insect larvae present. Foul odor. The head is partially skeletonized with an absent left eye. There is liquefaction of the soft tissues. Evidence of traumatic injury. Oh, that could be. And maybe just braces. And I'm with you now. See, yeah, I was thinking that she didn't have braces. Y'all are so smart. See what I'm saying? Yep. Oh, Felicia had it too. Could it be braces? Okay. Skin defect involving the right abdomen, 21 inches below the top of the head and 1 inch right of midline, is a 3/4 inch length penetrating wound with smooth edges. The wound is oriented in the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock directions, so completely across. The wound tracks sequentially, perforates the skin and soft tissue of the right abdomen and the liver. Wound track has an approximate depth of 1 to 1.5 inches. Direction is front to back. And then there is another wound 15 inches below the top of the head and 6 inches left of the midline. That is in the lateral left lower chest, left intercostal space, and enters the left chest cavity, and it tracks at a depth of 2 inches. Multiple skin defects. Oh boy. The upper and lower extremities show full thickness dismemberment with relatively flat cut surfaces through the soft tissue and bone. No discernible hemorrhage is identified as at these sites. Multiple fragments of blue plastic material are found embedded in the cut surfaces. What could that be? Representative fragments are collected by medical examiner criminalists and submitted to the evidence department on September 8th. The right upper extremity is dismembered 9 inches from the top of the shoulder. The left upper extremity is dismembered 6 inches from the top of the shoulder. Ugh. We're talking. So there was part of her arm still 6 inches, and as tiny as she was, that would be a fair amount down. The left fourth and fifth fingers are amputated. Oh, is that where the David tattoo was? Oh, that's telling. The left fourth and fifth, so that'd be the ring finger. Was it on the ring finger? Let's look. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't want your name to be identified with someone who was found deceased and decomposing in the frunk of your Tesla. Now, would you? Oh boy. Well, he didn't want that found, so he made sure to get rid of those digits. The right lower extremity is dismembered in 2 places. One site is 12 inches from the top of the leg, and the other is 10 inches from the bottom of the heel. Wow. This was multiple. Oh, maybe the blue plastic was gloves that came apart. That's possible. I think it said plastic though. Didn't it say plastic pieces? Blue plastic material. That makes me feel like hard, but it could absolutely be gloves. The left lower extremity is dismembered in 2 places. One site is 9 inches from the top of the leg, and the other is 15 inches from the bottom of the heel. Oof. That takes some time, y'all. I don't think this was done by one person. Yeah, I remember something about hearing about a pool also. Oh, Felicia. The body cavities all seem to be insignificant in nature, nothing unusual. I'm looking for anything else that may kind of jump out. So far, I don't see anything. I did not know that when I heard dismembered, I guess I don't know what I thought, but I didn't think this. That's what I can say is I didn't think this. That's a lot of time to do that much dismemberment. This is about her heart and aorta. More about the heart, respiratory system. Everything seems to be as expected. Digestive system. Stomach didn't have any pill fragments or any contents in it. No pathological findings in the small and large intestine. The liver, I wonder, do these particular medical examiners Do these doctors know the difference between a liver and a spleen? Because there happens to be a doctor in Florida that he doesn't know. Just saying, does not know. She still had her gallbladder. Oh. Kidneys are normal. Bladder empty. Uterus all normal, appropriate for age. Endocrine system. I mean, everything looks like she was a normal, healthy 15-year-old. Oh, look, they measured the spleen. So they clearly know the difference between a spleen and a liver. They should give a lesson to Dr. Sheknovsky because he doesn't have a clue. We'll fight you. The musculoskeletal system all seems normal. Head and central nervous system. Nothing ancillary testing. This is one of the more unremarkable medical examiner reports that I have read. Well, yes, Adrian, 72 pounds is not necessarily normal and healthy. I don't disagree with that. But everything else seems, I also wonder about the weight, depending on the level of decomposition. And was that 72 pounds just the torso? Or was that 72 pounds the torso and the dismembered limbs? So that could be why there is a discrepancy in why her weight is so low. I'm just spitballing here. I don't know nothing. Y'all know that. Ancillary testing. Oh my, is that the end of it? Oh, this is the toxicology report. Alcohol, ethanol was present. Benzodiazepines. I don't know what PP stands for. Does it give me anything at the bottom? No. I don't know. ND to me would mean not detected. So PP could mean present. Methamphetamine and MDMA. That would be more in line with what I would anticipate. Everything else looks like it is not detected except for designer opioids and methamphetamine again. Presumptive positive is what the PP means. See, I knew we'd get to some sort of key here. So yeah, not detected is ND and PP is presumptive positive. So her liver had benzodiazepines and methamphetamine and MDMA in it. What does the INC mean? Does not tell me. Oh, inconclusive due to interfering substances. Okay. All right, moving on. This shows where the wounds were in her torso. One to the left, just below the left breast, and the other one on the right, like was described earlier. And then this is all of the decomposition, I am assuming. Okay, and this shows, yes, where the dismemberment took place. So I don't know if you can see my mouse here, but this is where the arm was cut off, and then I think looks like there was likely an attempt to cut higher and then an attempt to cut lower, and then they ended up cutting in between those two. That's what it appears to me. And then the legs were cut here, like almost to crotch level, I would guess, and then just below the knee. So odd. That's a lot of time and energy. Like, didn't he get tired? Whomever it was, seeing everything that has been done, it is really difficult for me to think anybody other than someone very close to her did this. And I'm not going to make the assumption that David is the one that killed her, but it is the most logical choice since she seemed to be in his company more than anyone else. And then this is the investigative summary report. It does show the right index finger says shh. Dental x-rays were done. And photos taken. And then this is the synopsis. Two-hour autopsy notification request by LAPD robbery homicide detective Byers. Information is preliminary and subject to change due to the ongoing investigation. According to the reported information on 8/26/2025, passerby reported an abandoned black Tesla that was parked on the street to the Los Angeles Department of Transportation. LADOT employees cited the vehicle on 9/3/2025, impounded it on 9/5, and towed it, redacted. On 9/8, a manager noticed a foul smell emanating from the vehicle and reported it to Auto Detective Clore. Detective Clore inspected the vehicle's front trunk. We know that to be a frunk. And found a large black zippered body bag with handles. Shut up. A body bag with handles? He partially unzipped the bag, revealing a human torso and the back of a head. He pronounced death on scene at 1100 hours without medical intervention. There is no person of interest in custody at this time, and charges are pending. No weapon recovered. She was literally in a zipped up body bag that had handles. This is why we read these things, because did not know that. Did not know that at all. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is the same information we just read. Tells us where the vehicle was. There were no illicit drugs, drug paraphernalia, or alcohol on scene. I observed the decedent's posterior head and torso lying prone in a body bag inside the front trunk of a Tesla. Her head was oriented towards the north. She appeared indeterminate age and ethnicity with dark hair and natural teeth. She was wearing a blue top, underwear, leggings, and socks. I observed multiple holes in the front and the back of the tube top. Oof. She was missing both arms above the elbows and both legs above the knees. Underneath the body bag was a black trash bag that contained the decedent's apparent compiled bilateral arms and legs. They appear to have been dismembered into several fragments. The decedent was in advanced state of decomposition demonstrated by foul odor, discoloration, liquefaction, insect activity, partial skeletonization, and skin slippage. I noted an approximate 1-inch linear defect on her abdomen and a circular defect on her left flank. The left ring and pinky fingers appear to have been mutilated. I did not locate them during my scene examination. She has a tattoo that reads shh on the inside of her right index finger. I did not observe any other discernible scars or tattoos. The decedent was not ID viewable due to decomposition of the face and was not live scanned due to waterlogged fingers. Oh. Y'all know why the fingers were waterlogged. It's not because she was put in there with fluids, with water. That was from the liquefaction. Per investigator Magdaleno on 9/16, 8:15 hours, Dr. Law positively identified the decedent as Celeste Abigail Rivas-Hernandez, redacted via dental radiograph comparison. And then, of course, Detective Byers notified the decedent's parents of the death. What did they collect? Leggings, underwear, 2 socks, a shirt, body bag handles, body bag side handles, a hair kit. Insects were collected. They swabbed the handles. Oh, sure do want to know what they found on the handles. They swabbed the top and side handles, all of them, top, bottom, and sides. They collected a toenail, blue plastic pieces on right leg, blue plastic pieces on legs and arms, trash bag, and a zipper bottom, zipper top. Interesting. This is the individual that processed the evidence. And what do we have here? Looks like pretty much everything. Oh, look, it says the frunk was open. Prior to my arrival, the frunk was open and the body bag was unwrapped and open to view the decedent. The decedent was dismembered and was inside a black body bag and black trash bag. The decedent was severely decomposed and there was decomposition fluid on the outside and inside of the bags. The decedent was female and had dark hair with decomposition fluid and insect activity. Also, insect activity was observed on the body and the body bag. The body bag had a double zipper, 3 handles on each length side, and a handle on the top and bottom width end. The body bag took most of the frunk space. Inside the frunk, the body bag contained the decedent's head and torso in a prone position. The decedent's head pointed north and her thighs pointed south. The trash bag was at the south end of the frunk beneath the body bag. The trash bag was tied and contained the decedent's dismembered limbs, arms with hands, and legs with feet. The decedent's arms were cut and removed at the bicep, and the legs were cut and removed above and below the knee. Before moving the body bag, the handles and zippers were swabbed. The body bag and trash bag were removed from the frunk and placed on a plastic sheet. The decedent was then removed from the bags and put on another plastic sheet. The decedent's left hand was missing the ring and pinky fingers. The decedent was wearing a discolored tube top. I just have to go back. Tell me you are the one that took this young girl's life without telling me you're the one that took this young girl's life. You took the one finger that could have identified you. Could you be? What could be more egregious? I mean, you may as well just sign your name on it. The decedent was wearing a discolored tube top shirt, discolored underwear, black leggings, and black socks. The shirt appeared to have 3 cut artifacts. The leggings were cut around the knees and the upper portion on the torso, and the lower portions rolled down to both ankles and the feet. Okay, I'm with it now. At the cut site of the right leg attached to the torso, there were small blue plastic pieces. Also, the legs and arms from the trash bag had blue small plastic pieces at the cut sites. Redacted. Wouldn't we all like to know what is redacted here? Because I have a feeling it's terribly fascinating and crucial to the case. And then it goes on to state what was collected. Hair kit, insects, the swabs. We've seen a list of this already, so this is not new. Yay, Melissa! I'm so happy that your surgery went well. Good for you. I was talking about you earlier because I know you're one of my Californians, and I said, oh gosh, no shade, but you know, it's a little wackadoodle out there. You know, we've talked. I'm so happy your surgery went well. I hope you feel better and get better very, very quickly. Blue plastic pieces were, of course, on the arms and legs. And then it shows the clothing again that was collected. Very, very thorough, it appears. Okay. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff I didn't know. And I hadn't really dug into this. So, I think I have another document. I think I have another document. Yeah, this is going to be our last document that we go over this evening, because this is a people's brief regarding the preliminary hearing evidence. I think this is going to give us some more information that we have not had in the past. Oh, a little bit bigger. A little bit. Okay. So this was conducted not too terribly long ago, April 29th, 2026. I better hydrate before I get going on all of this. I did not know that there was a David tattoo on a finger, on the ring finger, and I did not know that she was missing both her ring finger and her pinky finger on the hand that she had the tattoo. I also did not know that her limbs were not only dismembered from the torso, but also then dismembered again. Okay. To the Honorable Judge Charlene Olmedo of the above entitled court, and to defendant and his counsel of record. The people submit the following brief to provide a roadmap for the evidence the people intend to introduce at the preliminary hearing scheduled to begin May 1st, 2026. Oh, let's hear what they think happened. Lay it on me. The dismembered body of 14-year-old Celeste was discovered in the front trunk of defendant's Tesla Model X on September 8th, 2025. The vehicle had been towed 3 days prior from 1405 Bluebird Avenue, which was parked approximately 400 feet from... Oh, I didn't know that. Let me back up. The vehicle had been towed 3 days prior from 1405 Bluebird Avenue, which was parked approximately 400 feet from defendant's home at 1368 Doheny Place in the Hollywood Hills. Oh, let's see if we can look at the house. Hang on. Side quest. Just a minute. I need to make room. I have way too many tabs happening in my world over here. Let us see if we can look at Doheny. All right. Doheny. Doheny Place. Hollywood Hills. Okay, let me see if I get any decent pictures. Oh, 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 I've got pictures. Do we need to take a field trip? Is it field trip time? Let me get the right place. Oh boy, this is quite the place. Let me see if I can share this tab instead. Okay, here we are. Let me see, before I do that, let me check something. I want to see if I can. No, no, it's not going to cooperate with me. Let me try one other thing. Okay, let us take a peeky weeky. Okay, isn't this delightful? Nice area in the backyard. Looking into the property. Oh, what just, oh, there we go. Nice little hot tub area, little dipping pool. I think they call that a cocktail pool. Oh, very, very modern. I think that staircase in the back is mega cool because it's got that banister. It's a technical term. Okay, hang on a second. I'm trying to figure out these chairs. They're wild. Okay. This is quite the place. Quite a nice place. Kind of underwhelming kitchen. A bedroom. I don't know if this is the primary or not. Definitely the primary bath. I mean, he was living pretty large in this place. What is up with that? Kind of cool wallpaper. Not in love with it, but it's kind of cool. A little too busy with that whole checkered thing going on the floor, but hey, that's just me. Backyard again. This absolutely reminds me of a Hollywood Hills home because it's like this. They're like on top of each other. They're like shotgun houses. Oh, that gives you a better view. Yeah. Okay. See, so I'm guessing the street was running parallel to the property, to the home. It's hard to tell from there. There's the piano. Isn't this the kitchen that one of the videos was done that he kind of went I don't want to say wackadoodles, but he ended abruptly one of his like live streams or whatever. Weren't they in this kitchen at the island there with the, yeah. I feel like that's where they were. And I mean, it's a lot. This place is a lot. Another bedroom, cool lamps. This looks like the same bath that we were looking at earlier. I do like the tile in here, though. That's very cool. Oh, wait, I got to go back because I really like the tile in the bath and the shower, too. That is really, really cool looking. I like that. Note to self. This is your typical, kind of bland bathroom. Another shot of the backyard. And ironically, for the Hollywood Hills, this looks like there is a fair amount of privacy in the backyard. And yeah, it does look like no, exactly. Oh, Felicia, that was me thinking to myself, note to Mr. Demeanor. Um, Finnish carpenter by trade, guppy breeder at night. um, yeah, it doesn't have a very lived in feel. I do agree with that. This looks exceptionally sterile to me. I need plants or something going on here. Dead. And another bedroom. This is the room. It looks like they had that wild floor or wild rug with the oh my heavens to Murgatroyd. What? A cat raid? Uh-oh. Hey, Eve. Hey, thanks for joining. She must have just finished. I think she was doing the Blaze Taylor trial. Is that what y'all were doing? Well, let me fill all of you cat raiders in. We're taking a tour of the house that David Anthony Burke lived in and likely where he took the life of Celeste Rivas-Hernandez. Hey, Martha. And this is what is happening in this bathroom. It's like an acid trip, but you weren't sure which mode you wanted to go in or something. Yeah. That is ugliest, more money than take. The rest of the home has been absolutely beautiful. All of you raiders just joining us from Catnut Williams, thank you so much for raiding. But this room in particular is not good looking at all. We're gonna move on. I just was so horrified. I'm so sorry. Okay, we're back in the yard again. Okay, back in the backyard. Lots of backyard. Okay, this makes more sense to me now because this shows where the street was. All right, let's take a let's go back one. So it's got to be around this area is where the street is. I'm guessing. I'm trying to get myself oriented to where I'd seen him entering and exiting this property. Nice closet, man. I mean, color me jealous. That, of course, is the primary. Back in that bathroom again. They like to take pictures of that bathroom. There's the piano. I think I've seen that before, too. Another relatively bland-looking bathroom. Now we're upstairs looking out over, I'm guessing the street is what is below. This wild looking chandelier hanging down. Little eat-in kitchen. Oh, a gym. Of course, you got to have a gym, right? Got to be working out, getting all buff. And this looks like this is likely upstairs, also in that balcony area. And of course, the very last photograph here of the pool again. So there's your tour, ladies and gents. Probably more ladies than gents this evening. It's usually that way. Okay, how about we head back? I'd only gotten to the first page of the preliminary hearing brief. So let's do that. Okay. We took a little field trip to Doheny Place in the Hollywood Hills. Surveillance video and other evidence confirmed defendant was the last person to drive the vehicle on July 29th, 2025, before he left Los Angeles on a concert tour. Ooh. They believe she was dismembered in May. Do y'all remember us reading that earlier? So, like May 5th. I remember it was Cinco de Mayo. May, that's a long time. June 5th, July 5th, we're almost to August 5th. That's almost 3 months. Okay. So he had her in there all that time? Ugh. Surely not. We'll keep reading. Maybe it'll make sense. Make it make sense, please. On September 8th, 2025, the manager of the tow yard where the Tesla had been impounded noted the strong smell of decay and the presence of flies coming from the vehicle. He notified Los Angeles Police Department Hollywood auto detectives, who determined the Tesla was registered to defendant through departmental resources. At the tow yard, LAPD detectives opened the Tesla's front storage compartment and observed a black cadaver bag covered in insects. Inside the bag, they discovered a severely decomposed head and torso. A plastic garbage bag beneath the black cadaver bag contained the dismembered arms and legs. However, the victim's ring and pinky fingers on her left hand had been amputated and were not found in the Tesla. Well, no, he doesn't want to leave those there because it says David. It says David. Yeah. Literally has his name on it. What in the world? On September 16th, 2025, the LA County Medical Examiner's Department positively identified the body from dental records as belonging to the victim. Pursuant to the investigation, LAPD robbery homicide detectives determined the victim and defendant met in January 2022 when she was 11 years old. They began a sexual relationship in November 2023 when the victim was just 13 years old and defendant was 18. Detectives learned the victim had been reported missing to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department by her family, who live in Lake Elsinore, in February and April 2024. Riverside County Sheriff's Department, RCSD, telephonically contacted defendant on February 17th, 2024, after they identified a phone number in the victim's phone records that belonged to him. During the call, defendant claimed he had spoken to the victim last on February 13 or 14, 2024, but he stated he was unaware she was a minor or that she had been reported missing. Don't lie. Don't lie to the authorities. Don't talk to him if you don't want to, but don't lie. Oh. RCSD advised him that LA Sheriff's Department deputies would be coming to his home. On that day, the defendant was living at 804 North Doheny Place in West Hollywood. Wait a minute, isn't that where the... No, okay. 804? Well, that's a different address. Don't worry, we're not going to go there right now. RCSD requested that LASD conduct a welfare check at defendant's home. LASD deputies went to defendant's home that night at 8:15 p.m. and informed him the victim was a 13-year-old runaway. Defendant again claimed he was unaware she was a minor and he had only met the victim once in person in November 2023. However, defendant showed deputies a yearbook photo of the victim he had on his cell phone. Although he claimed to be unaware of where the victim was at the time, she returned home 2 days later. Despite being informed by law enforcement the victim was only 13, defendant continued to pursue her. Of course, because rules don't apply to him. After the victim returned home in February 2024, her parents took her cell phone away. Defendant drove to Lake Elsinore and paid a junior high school student in the victim's class $1,000 to give the victim a cell phone defendant purchased so they could stay in contact. Throughout 2024, the victim spent a significant amount of time with defendant, including summer weekends at his home in the Hollywood Hills and traveling with him to Las Vegas, London, and Texas to meet his family. Text exchanges between the victim and defendant contain references to sex, pregnancy, abortion, and use of the Plan B emergency contraceptive. There are also explicit photographs documenting and corroborating their sexual relationship. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. In November 2024, defendant and the victim broke up. Although they continued to communicate, and text messages suggest they also continued to have sexual relations. April 23rd, 2025 is the likely date of the victim's death and when all her cellular activity ceased. The night prior, April 22nd, 2025, defendant and the victim engaged in a lengthy argument described in detail in their text messages. Oh, I can't wait to hear about the text messages. Are y'all excited about the text message? I'm excited about the text messages. I mean, I'm sure they're not going to be like Michael Proctor text messages, but I'm excited to find out what the heck was going on. What was this big argument about? Oh, I want to know. I want to know. I want to know. The messages reveal the victim's jealousy over defendant's relationships with other women, as defendant led her to believe they had a future together. She became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damaging information about her relationship with the defendant to end his career and destroy his life. Oh, girl, you were playing with fire. Honey, you're a 14. You do not know what you're doing by saying something like that. Defendant's first studio album was due to be released on April 25th, 2025. He had an emerging multi-million-dollar career already in progress. He also had multiple product endorsements, which were highly profitable. So this is where they're saying it was for profit. That her death took place for profit. Remember, for financial gain. We read that earlier this evening. Now it makes sense because he didn't want her to be preventing his big career from happening, and that was the financial gain he was going to lose if she outed him about his pedophilia. I think that's what you'd call it. She was 11. Yowzer. At approximately 8:40 p.m. on April 23rd, 2025, defendant sent an Uber to transport the victim from her Lake Elsinore home to his residence. See, this is where I have shade that I throw on Celeste's family. Anyway, they communicated before and during her Uber ride, which dropped her off at the defendant's Hollywood Hills home around 10:10 p.m. At approximately 10:30 p.m., defendant sent text messages to the victim inquiring where she was. The people contend this was part of defendant's premeditated plan to cover up the murder, as she was already dead by this time. Oh, shut up. Y'all. She arrived at the Hollywood Hills home at 10:10, and they believe when he was sending text messages at 10:30, she was already dead. So this is the lying in wait thing that was in the earlier documents. It's all making sense now. I understand the financial gain part of it. I understand the lying in wait. Yeah. He lured her to his Hollywood Hills home for the specific intent of taking her life. Oh my goodness gracious. Knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career as she had threatened, very soon after her arrival at his home, defendant stabbed the victim to death multiple times and stood by while she bled out. At no time did he call law enforcement or 911 or take her to an emergency room to attempt to save her life. No, that would defeat the purpose. That's not what murderers do. They don't save people. They murder people. Despite knowing she was dead and her family was trying to find her, the evidence will show defendant lied and claimed he didn't know where she was. In fact, defendant drove to Santa Barbara County immediately after the victim died, attempting to dispose of her property and destroy evidence. Oh, tell me everything about that. At approximately 11:30 p.m. on April 23rd, 2025, he drove away from his home as he texted and called the victim's phone, asking where she was. Again, these were acts calculated and planned to set up his defense within a very short timeline after the victim's vicious murder. Defendant drove his Tesla north on the 101 freeway to San Marcos Pass Road, State Route 154 near Lake Cauchuma, I don't know how to say that, in Santa Barbara County. He returned home early the following morning on April 24th, 2025, before going to a radio interview. Shut up. He returned home early the following morning on April 24th, 2025, before going to a radio interview for the release of his album that week. Wow, that is diabolical. He sent 2 additional texts to the victim's phone that day, which obviously went unanswered because she was already dead. After April 26, 2025, defendant never attempted to contact her again. Well, that's telling. Oh, tellingly? It's like they were reading my mind. Tellingly, defendant subsequently purchased tools to carry out his plot to dismember and dispose of the victim's body. On April 24th, 2025, defendant ordered a shovel from Home Depot that was delivered to his home from Postmates. On May 1st, defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered 2 chainsaws to his home. On May 5th, defendant ordered and Amazon subsequently delivered a body bag, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a blue inflatable pool to his home. That's the plastic. That's the plastic. I bet you the chainsaw, as he was cutting her body up in the blue pool, the chainsaw was getting parts of the pool on the chain, and as he was cutting, it was leaving those bits in the wounds. Again, the murder kit, man. Although, thank goodness he didn't. He went to Home Depot, ordered from Home Depot. He didn't go to Home Depot because, good grief, how many times have we seen them shopping in the murder aisle at Home Depot and Lowe's? He made these purchases under the fake name Victoria Mendez. On May 8th, defendant returned to the same area in Santa Barbara County, leaving his home around 11:30 p.m. He returned to the area again on May 31st. This is an isolated site off State Route 154 where the victim's identification was subsequently discovered in January 2026. Aha. Additionally, on July 7th, defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered a burn cage to his home under the same fake name as part of his plan to incinerate evidence. Moreover, defendant took horrifying measures to destroy and discard the victim's body after placing her body into the blue inflatable pool to prevent her blood from spilling onto his garage floor. Defendant used a chainsaw and perhaps other tools to cut off her limbs. Small blue plastic fragments were found embedded in the victim's remains, which were collected by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Department. The fragments were analyzed by the LAPD's Forensic Science Division Trace Analysis Unit. An expert was able to make a physical match from the blue fragments to the blue inflatable pool purchased by defendant in May 2025. It's all coming full circle now. In order to distance himself from the victim, he amputated her left ring and pinky fingers because her ring finger contained a tattoo of his name. Her fingers have not been recovered. Defendant then placed her head and torso into the cadaver bag he purchased. He placed her limbs into a garbage bag, which he deposited into his front trunk, laying the cadaver bag on top. For several weeks, or possibly months, defendant left the victim's body to decompose inside his Tesla. Y'all, that's a long time. He lied to friends, business associates, and others who noticed the strong smell of decay. Oh, no, it really was there. Oh, no, 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 no. He lied to friends, business associates, and others who noticed the strong smell of decay in and around his home and vehicle. Before leaving on his concert tour at the end of July, he parked his Tesla on the street around the corner from his home. He's like, yeah, I don't know. Not me. I don't know. Whew. LAPD served a search warrant at defendant's home at 1368 Doheny Place on September 17th. After the victim was identified by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner on September 16th. Inside the garage, detectives discovered evidence consistent with the dismemberment of the victim's body in the inflatable pool, which contained multiple linear cuts. See? I said that before I ever even knew all of this. Several biological samples, which tested positive for blood, were collected within the garage area. DNA analysis determined that various samples matched the victim's unique genetic profile. On December 9th, the ME ruled the victim's death a homicide caused by 2 penetrating injuries to the torso. On January 17th, I think this is supposed to be 2026, the victim's U.S. passport card was found by a Caltrans worker off State Route 154 in Santa Barbara County. The people will present the following evidence at the preliminary hearing, including but not limited to the description of photographs depicting the victim naked, as well as while she was engaged with defendant in sexual activity when she was 13. Good Lord. As this evidence constitutes child sex abuse material, the photographs themselves will not be presented, while all possible charges that could be proven were not filed. The CSAM is proof of their ongoing sexual relationship while the victim was 13 and 14 years old. Numerous text messages between defendant and the victim evidencing their sexual relationship, pregnancy, abortion, and use of Plan B emergency contraception. Messages through March 2025 prove defendant continued to manipulate the victim as she messaged, "All we do is have sex and just hang out. Man, I want more than that for myself." These messages were obtained from defendant's iCloud data. Defendant's cellular activity and communications derived from defendant's iPhone and Tesla, which demonstrate defendant's activities from April 22nd to April 24th, including a trip to Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night after the victim arrived at his Hollywood Hills home. You know what I wonder? This is me just speculating, just wondering some more stuff. It's a Tesla, and with all those electronics, I just wonder if they will be able to track his whereabouts like over that 48 hours, that 48-hour period of time, and know exactly where he was. Because it's a Tesla, man. There's a lot of electronic data associated with that. Oh boy. Surveillance video of defendant driving his Tesla on July 29th for the last time before parking the vehicle and leaving on tour at the end of July. DNA evidence developed from blood stains collected from defendant's garage, which matched the victim's genetic profile. Proof of defendant's Amazon purchases and deliveries to his residence, including 2 chainsaws, a body bag, an inflatable pool, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a burn cage after April 24th. Proof of defendant's purchase and delivery from Postmates of a shovel from Home Depot to his home on April 24th. Uber records showing defendant's transaction where he ordered an Uber to pick up the victim from her Lake Elsinore home and transport her to his residence the night of April 23rd. Proof of defendant's lucrative career as a singer and songwriter prior to April 23rd. Defendant had an album release party on the night of April 24th before embarking on an international tour in late July 2025. I got to tell you, there's a psychopathy going on here, that you can commit this kind of heinous act and then just go about your business. Whew. Text message exchanges between defendant and the victim on April 22nd and April 23rd, where the victim threatened to expose defendant and destroy his career. In conclusion, this brief is filed to assist the court in understanding the scope and relevance of evidence the prosecution intends to present at the preliminary hearing. And it goes on to tell us respectfully, we are submitting this. And then there's proof of service. Holy smackers. That was educational. Before I forget, y'all, we're in the 7-day countdown. Next week on this very night, in 7 days, we'll be talking to Beth Karras. Beth Karras on. I'm so excited. I want you all to make sure you hit the bell so you get the notification. So when I go live for Wine and Crime Wednesday next week, you can come watch me chat with Beth Karras. Yes, the Curious Case of Natalia Grace. Beth Karras, yes, that one. The one that was in Jodi Arias, in the courtroom for Jodi Arias' trial. Yeah, that one. Casey Anthony's trial. Yep, that one. That's the one. She and I are going to chat. So y'all don't want to miss that. Just had to get that out because I'm like, I'm so excited. Oh, she was my absolute favorite person to whose segment I sat in on last year at CrimeCon. And she is an absolute delight, and I just can't wait. I'm going to spend this weekend compiling my questions that I'm going to be asking her. So yeah, you don't want to miss that. Let's talk about when does David, did he have a hearing today? Oh Lordy, let me consult my docket. Let's look at the old trial docket. David, oh no, it's 6/29. So David Anthony Burke has a preliminary hearing on the 29th. That is next week. I don't know what my schedule is going to be because y'all know I'm a big star in the community theater. So I got rehearsal too. So that's why I was able to live stream last night. I didn't have any rehearsal last night, but we'll definitely be here on Wednesday. No matter what, I will be here for that. I don't think, I'm looking to see if we have an actual trial date for David Anthony Burke. I do not see that. Maybe we'll find out more next week when that preliminary hearing takes place. I'm anxious to see how all of this unfolds and what we see in the way of evidence, because I think there's more than even what is being discussed or shown in that brief that I just read. I feel like I know a little bit more about this case now. I hope y'all feel the same way. Oh, did we, hang on. Hold the phone because we might have a couple minutes now. Let me see if I can take us. Would you all like to go on one last final little field trip? I don't know if we can. I'm going to try though. I don't think there's any photographs on this one. No. Oh, this is quite. Oh, yeah. There are. Okay, hang on. So the 804 Doheny Place. Let me show you. Oh, this is going to look familiar to all of you. Okay, so no, the 1368 Doheny Place is not where Celeste and he, it's not where they did that live stream. I'm going to pull it up for you right now. Oops. Oh, for heaven's sake. It's kind of hard to see, but cute little place. Isn't this a cute place? This is only 1,400 square feet. But it's cute. It's very California-like to me. This is the property. This shows where it is on Doheny. Little backyard or front yard little area. I'm not sure which. Does this look familiar, everybody? Yeah, this is where David and Celeste were sitting for that live stream. This is absolutely where it was when they abruptly ended it. So it was at 804 Doheny is where he was living when all of that was going on. Oh, I'm so glad we came to do this little tour field trip. Yep, that is definitely the kitchen that they were in. Definitely. No bout a doubt it, as I would say when I was a little girl. Not nearly as luxurious, very cute. It actually kind of reminds me a little bit of Marilyn Monroe's bungalow that she lived in when she passed away. I'm assuming a bedroom. It's just empty, so it's hard to tell. Oh, I kind of like this glassed door to the left here. That's kind of cool. And that is what it looks like from the street. Typical in California. Nobody ever wants to see anything. It's like, no, you can't see in my house. Let me put all these hedges and everything all around. I don't know why everyone in California is so afraid of like being able to see their house from the street. They're not all famous. They're not all celebrities that live in the Hollywood Hills and such. I don't know why you have to hide from everyone. I don't understand it. Okay, everybody. I think I've beat this one to death tonight. I'll still be following along. I pay attention to my posts because depending on what my schedule is for next week, we may be able to do more than one live stream. Obviously, 4th of July is next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. I will not be doing a live stream on the 3rd, mostly because of where I live. They're probably already going to be shooting off fireworks, and it would be annoying. And so it's going to depend on what the rest of the schedule is for next week. But I will definitely be here, obviously, on Wednesday with the lovely Beth Karras, and we will discuss Casey Anthony. We're going to discuss Natalia Grace, and probably a few of the cases that have been included in season 2 of The Curious Case of. You might want to get caught up on that. That might be a little homework item for you if you have not watched any of those up to this point. But for now, you all know it doesn't cost a penny to be kind. Oh, before I leave. Thank you, everyone from Cat's Raid. Thank you, everyone else that came on. If you watched on the Twix, head on over to the Tubes of You so you can give me a little quick thumbs up. I appreciate everyone, and I hope you have a lovely rest of the week. And with that now, you all know it doesn't cost a penny to be kind, so find someone to do something nice for today if you haven't already. And remember,